In Ecuador, escalating violence fueled by drug cartels disrupts the once tranquil nation, with José Adolfo Macías Villamar, a notorious figure, extending influence beyond traditional law enforcement, even inciting fear among presidential candidates. Born on September 30, 1979 in Manta, Ecuador, José Adolfo Macías Villamar, also known as Fito, emerges from a childhood veiled in mystery, his narrative unfolding as one entrenched in poverty and crime, with over 30 transgressions etching his name into Ecuador's criminal history. Affiliated with the notorious Los Choneros cartel, Fito solidifies his status as a dominant figure in Ecuador's underworld, leaving chaos and devastation in his wake, prompting the deployment of 4,000 soldiers to transfer him between prisons, highlighting the unchecked violence gripping Ecuador. Let's delve into it. Originating in the early 1990s in Chone, Manabí Province, Ecuador, Los Choneros derives its name from its birthplace, signifying its deep-rooted ties to the region amid Manabí's emergence as a crucial nexus in the illicit drug trade. Linked to the notorious Sinaloa cartel, Los Choneros operates within a complex network intertwined with Ecuador's criminal syndicates and international counterparts, posing significant challenges for law enforcement efforts. Despite Ecuadorian authorities' attempts to disrupt their dominance through mass prison transfers, Los Choneros expanded their presence, establishing influence within multiple penitentiaries nationwide and spawning new offshoots, complicating efforts to contain their impact within the prison system and exacerbating challenges in Ecuador's fight against organized crime. Fito's narrative unfolds with his 2011 incarceration, bearing 30 charges and a daunting 34-year sentence, yet finding solace within La Roca Prison until his bold escape orchestrated on February 11, 2013, alongside 17 fellow Los Choneros members. Exploiting corrupt guards, they breached the supposedly secure facility, though Fito's taste of freedom was short-lived as he was recaptured in May 2013, paradoxically solidifying his status within Los Choneros. In Ecuadorian prisons, gangs wield authority, granting privileges and dictating rules, enabling Fito to navigate corruption adeptly, organizing celebrations, family visits, and accessing contraband. Commissioning intricate paintings and producing a music video within prison walls, Fito showcased his influence and perceived status as a revered figure within the criminal underworld, transcending boundaries even behind bars. Despite facing numerous accusations and charges, Fito's mother, Marisol, adamantly defends his innocence amidst the allegations spanning from drug trafficking to petty theft. Her steadfast support sheds light on the intricate layers of Fito's persona, oscillating between condemnation and admiration within Ecuador's tumultuous legal framework. The tragic demise of Los Choneros leader Jorge Luis Zambrano on December 28, 2020, marks a pivotal moment, catalyzing an irreversible shift in Ecuador's trajectory, triggering a chaotic power struggle among rival cartels and sparking violent clashes nationwide, notably within the prison system, despite efforts to segregate gang factions. Following the death of Jose, Fito and Junior Roldán rose as trusted lieutenants within Los Choneros. But internal strife emerged when Junior broke away to establish his own cartel, leaving Fito as the sole leader of the faction. Exploiting this vulnerability, rival groups like Los Lobos capitalized on the chaos to seize control of lucrative drug routes previously monopolized by Los Choneros, significantly diminishing their influence in the illicit trade. As Ecuador plunged into ongoing turmoil, the approach of the 2023 election year heightened politicians' awareness of the nation's dire state, with addressing rampant crime emerging as a central agenda item despite its inherent risks. Just 2 weeks prior to the crucial elections on August 9, 2023, presidential hopeful Fernando Villavicencio fell victim to a chilling act of violence, targeted despite being surrounded by vigilant bodyguards and supporters after a campaign event, underscoring the pervasive threat of violence within Ecuador's political landscape. Moments after Villavicencio left the venue, a sudden hail of gunfire erupted, as 18-year-old Colombian assailant Ito fired 12 shots through the car's front window, fatally wounding Villavicencio with 3 gunshot wounds. Despite attempts to flee, Ito was swiftly apprehended by one of Villavicencio's bodyguards, yet bystanders intervened, subjecting him to brutal retaliation before ultimately executing him. While swift justice was meted out to Ito, the mastermind behind the assassination remains elusive. with speculation pointing to potential ties to Fito and Los Choneros, fueled by compelling evidence uncovered by various news sources. In an interview shortly before his tragic death, Villavicencio openly acknowledged the threats posed by Los Choneros, yet remained resolute, declaring, "I'm not afraid of them." His unwavering courage highlighted his steadfast commitment to justice, demonstrating a willingness to confront criminality despite significant personal risk. Following the assassination, law enforcement swiftly apprehended the 18-year-old shooter and 7 other Colombian nationals implicated in the plot. However, a month later, authorities announced the shocking deaths of 6 detainees awaiting due process within Ecuadorian custody, with no official cause disclosed. Just 4 days after the attack on Fernando Villavicencio, Fito was transferred to a high-security facility in Guayaquil, housing up to 150 inmates. President Guillermo Lasso framed the move as a precautionary step for public safety, though it coincided closely with the assault on Villavicencio. The transfer, involving 4,000 heavily armed soldiers, underscored the extraordinary measures taken to ensure Fito's safe relocation between facilities. After a period of apparent calm, hopes that Fito's influence had waned were dashed when, on January 7, 2024, Police General Cesar Zapata made a startling announcement. Fito had vanished from his maximum security prison cell. The circumstances of his disappearance were perplexing. There was no evidence of violence or a clear escape plan. Instead, Fito seemed to have disappeared without a trace, leaving authorities puzzled and the public anxious. The timing of Fito's disappearance, just before his scheduled transfer to another maximum security facility, raised suspicions of possible collusion or insider involvement. With his sudden absence, Ecuador faced the resurgence of one of its most notorious criminals, reigniting uncertainty about the nation's security. The announcement of Fito's disappearance sparked nationwide unrest, plunging Ecuador into renewed turmoil. President Daniel Noboa responded by declaring a national state of emergency, granting authorities extensive powers to suspend civil liberties and deploy military forces, particularly within the volatile prison system, in an attempt to restore order. Despite the imposition of martial law, chaos persisted. Masked assailants brazenly infiltrated a public television channel during a live broadcast, holding employees hostage at gunpoint and seizing control of the airwaves. The motive behind this audacious act, as well as the identities of the perpetrators, remain unknown, leaving Ecuadorians grappling with uncertainty and apprehension in the aftermath of Fito's disappearance. The brazen attack on the television station sent shockwaves throughout Ecuador, revealing that no sanctuary remained immune to cartel violence. This incident heightened the pervasive sense of insecurity among the populace, eroding trust in authorities' ability to protect them from criminal threats. The subsequent assassination of prosecutor Cesar Suarez deepened anxieties, raising suspicions that his pursuit of justice had made him a target. Despite the national state of emergency, outbreaks of violence persisted, showcasing the resilience of criminal networks resistant to traditional law enforcement methods. In a disturbing escalation, inmates seized control of 7 prisons, holding over 158 guards and personnel hostage for days. Distressing videos circulated on social media, intensifying the anguish of families worried for their loved ones' safety. Fito remains elusive, despite promises from Ecuadorian authorities to swiftly bring him to justice. President Noboa's administration grapples with the lack of satisfactory explanations for Fito's inexplicable escape from a maximum security facility, leaving the public disillusioned and filled with uncertainties. Ecuadorians face the daunting reality of battling an increasingly emboldened cartel apparatus, poised to escalate its reign of terror to unprecedented levels. If you've enjoyed this video, please show your support by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video.